dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy.
In 135 of the Road Traffic Act 1988, it's a requirement for you to provide documents for me so I can check that you're the registered keeper and insured on the vehicle.
Section 135 of the Road Traffic Act 1988 is not one that I've heard used before, so I had to do a little bit of digging. The Section 135 states the power to prescribe form of certificate of registration, etc. Regulations may prescribe all or any of the following: a form of certificate for issue to persons whose names are in the register as evidence of their names being in the register, a form of badge for use by such persons, and an official title for such use. Now, I didn't quite understand 100% what this meant, so I decided to ask. So I went to the Ask the Police website and I asked them, Section 135 of the Road Traffic Act 1988 states power to prescribe form of certificate of registration, etc., as I've just read to you. And I said to them, but I'm unclear what this actually means. If stopped by an officer under 135 of the Road Traffic Act, what exactly would they be asking for? And also, can 135 of the Road Traffic Act be the reason to stop someone? Or does it come into effect once someone has been stopped for something else? What I mean is that although I don't quite understand what 135 is saying, it seems to be the failure to provide some kind of information which would not be the main reason for the initial stop, but a subsequent issue after being stopped for something else, say for speeding or a flag on the ANPR. Please explain exactly what 135 means and is referring to, and also if 135 can be used as a means to make a traffic stop. Thankfully, they replied in less than 24 hours, and the response that I got is this. Thank you for your email. Section 135 of the Road Traffic Act 1988 caters for the creation and format of vehicle registration document, i.e. a V5. If you were stopped by the police under Section 28A of the Vehicle Excise and Registration Act 1994, provides the power for the police officer to require you to produce the registration document. Please see the link below. It says, during a routine check, a police officer may require a driver to provide a number of documents, for example, driving licence, insurance certificate, registration document, and MOT certificate. The link below provides you further information. We hope this is of use. Section 28A, as I've just said, this is the power of a constable to require production of registration documents. Person using a vehicle in respect of which a registration document has been issued must produce the document for inspection on being so required by a constable or person authorised by the Secretary of State for the purposes of this section. And the second link in that email took me to this. This is on the gov.uk website. The police can stop a vehicle for any reason. If they ask you to stop, you should always pull over when it's safe to do so. You're breaking the law if you do not stop. If you're stopped, police can ask to see your driving licence, insurance certificate, MOT certificate. Now this is where I think obviously 135 comes into play, because under this it doesn't say anything about the registration document. So 135, I believe, has been created in order to make people cough up their registration document as well. It also goes on to say that if you do not have these documents with you, you have 7 days to take them to a police station. You're breaking the law if you do not show the requested documents in 7 days, which kind of contradicts itself because, because you are obliged to show your documentation if stopped by the police. But then it says that you have 7 days. So you're either obliged to do it or you're not, in my eyes. I think this is a bit of a contradiction in itself. But ultimately, you do have to identify yourself when stopped under the Road Traffic Act. Well, all I can say is I bet the driver's glad that he wasn't stopped by this guy.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You're not allowed to drive it. Get out of the car!
Okay, so
You
what's
don't have your driving licence on at the moment.
and what's your name?
I'm Sergeant Russia, 1292 of Leamington Spa Police Station, okay?
Sergeant Russia.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm driving down the road,
Yeah.
and you pulled me. So why didn't you pull anyone else?
To check your documents, sir.
Yeah, but why my documents?
Because I'm checking your documents. It's just a quick check. You haven't
No,
got your
but you-
driving licence on you.
Yeah, but I don't need my driving licence.
You do. You need to carry it at all times according to the Road Traffic Act.
Under section 163 of the Road Traffic Act, a constable in uniform is entitled to stop any vehicle on the road, although it doesn't state in section 163 why they want to stop you or why they must stop you. The police can and will use section 163 in order to stop you, and then one of the other acts, once you've been stopped, like it or not, failing to stop for the police is an offence. And as much as I loathe most of the police, I would rather the police stop people and make sure that they are legal than to allow non-insured and non-licensed idiots to thrash about the streets, putting my kids or other people at risk, providing, of course, that the police stay within the law and only use the additional appropriate acts instead of making stuff up to bully, intimidate and impede on people who are driving legally.
I
Genuinely,
never knew that.
I'm not pulling your leg, my friend. I've got mine on me.
I've never knew that, and
Yeah. You can check it on Google if you want.
I've been pulled before, and
Yeah.
I've not showed any documents to no police because I don't have to.
Yeah.
I literally don't have to.
You do under the Road Traffic Act, my friend.
Well, I ain't got my
I don't
documents.
even know who you are.
Now, although it is an offence not to show your documents on request, this is not one of those steadfast rules. I can't find anything in the 1988 Road Traffic Act that suggests that you must carry your documents with you. That's not to say it's not there, I'm just saying that I've not yet seen it. However, by making it a legal obligation to produce them upon request would indicate that you should have them with you at all times. However, the usual action is that a police officer would give you a Hort 1 document, which is a producer, 7-day wonder as we used to call them back in the day, which would require you to produce your then documents at a police station of your choice within those 7 days. But also, lots of police force websites and even Ask the Police website tells you that for a crime prevention point of view, it is not wise to ever leave your documents within your vehicle. Now that means that there are going to be plenty of times when you forget to take all of your documents with you when you go out for a drive, especially if you dip into a shop or whatever it might be. But having this kind of contradiction, if you like, leaves us open to abuse by the police to use, whatever they want to do, depending on their feelings at that particular time.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, but you don't need. I'm insured. I've got MOT.
What's your name then? I can check it on here.
Yeah, but why do I have to tell you my name? I don't understand. What?
201, go on. Sorry, mate. I'm not being rude.
I'm going for a jog, and you're pulling me for no reason, literally.
It's alright at the moment. Sorry about that. I'm not being rude. They're just talking to me. So, under 135 of the Road Traffic Act 1988, like I said, it's just a requirement to produce. I know you said you haven't got your driving licence on you, but I don't know who you are at the moment, so I'm just checking the vehicle's legit.
Yeah, but you ain't even traffic police, are you?
No, I'm a sergeant though, and we're a police officer, and we still deal with it.
Now, unfortunately, for the driver, this doesn't matter. Normal, everyday plod can question and stop and question drivers, just as traffic police can stop and question anybody that they want to, providing they've got a reason to. It's just that traffic cops are specifically to deal with traffic issues, or mainly to deal with traffic issues, but they can and will often deal with other incidents as well, just as normal everyday police will deal with traffic related issues too.
Yeah, but I don't understand. What have I done?
That's what I'm asking, for you to produce documents. At the moment, like I said...
Oh, you up, mate?
You alright, mate?
Straightforward.
I just want to see this officer, see what he's saying.
How are you
to
doing? Alright.
I'm good, thank you very
We're
much.
going for a jog. What's the problem?
You're going for a jog?
Yeah.
That's alright, there's no law against jogging, is there? I haven't said there is.
Yeah, there ain't no.
If you look at the licence and that, it all comes back normal.
He hasn't told me who he is.
Yeah, but I don't need to tell you who I
He
am.
doesn't need to say who he is. No right.
I don't need to
talk.
tell you my name. I ain't committed a
He
crime.
hasn't done anything wrong.
Now, as much as the police do like to harass and intimidate people for no good reason, as a parent, if someone hit one of my kids, God forbid, and they were not insured or licensed, and I found out later that the police had stopped them and let them go, well, you can imagine what I would do. I don't personally disagree with random stop checks to ensure the legalities of people. And, you know, if somebody's going to be driving a 2.5 ton piece of metal around the streets, I want to make sure that they're competent to do so. However, as I said earlier, this is providing the police don't try to trump up any BS charges like the old smells of weed in here, or your pupils look big, or any other infringement of our rights. You need to remember that although producing your documents is a requirement, speaking to and getting into conversation with a police officer is not a requirement. You can simply keep completely quiet, hand over your documents or show your driving license through the window, let them do their checks, and then be on your way. Of course, always make sure to film the interaction, just in case something does go wrong.
I ain't committed a crime.
Nothing
I
wrong.
haven't said you have committed a crime.
There you go then.
So
So,
what's
what
the
you putting
problem?
him
I'm being
over?
legit with you.
No, but I'm just
But
driving.
what happens is it
Go on
raises my suspicions when you don't tell me who you are. Yes, you haven't got your driving licence, yeah, but
Is the car coming up insured?
I haven't checked you yet.
Now, under normal circumstances, such as walking down the street or taking photographs, I would argue this point that it would be raising suspicion. But as a driver, he should know that he has a legal obligation to identify himself. Again, this can be done simply by showing some ID through the window or passing it through the window, all while keeping his mouth shut.
Because you
No,
haven't told
but
me who
yeah, but
you
is
are.
the car coming up
You haven't told
insured?
me who you are.
Is the car
So
coming
what
up
if I
insured?
say, yeah, it's insured to this person, you go, yeah, it's that. I'm not being awkward.
No, I'm
with
just,
you,
I'm not.
just
No,
being a human
is the
about
car coming up insured?
it. I'll run it through and check who you are, but who are you? Because then I can check, can't I?
Now, unfortunately, it doesn't really matter if the car is showing as insured or not. It could very easily be insured in another person's name, or another person has insurance for that vehicle, or for themselves to drive that vehicle. That doesn't mean that the person who is driving is actually insured as well. And that means that if there is an accident, somebody gets hurt or your property gets damaged, you've got no way of claiming on that insurance to get yourself or your property fixed. But this is something that all drivers should already know. Not that I'm sticking up for the police, okay? I'm just simply being as impartial and balanced as I can be, as I always try to be.
Yeah, but I don't need to tell you I am because I ain't done anything wrong.
So when I check it's insured and it comes up...
If
let's
it comes
say
up
Joe
insured,
Smith,
if
for
it
example.
comes up not insured, then
Yeah.
fair play. You can say, okay, the car's not insured. I'm arresting you, or I'm doing whatever. But the car's insured. I don't understand why you're pulling me. I do literally. I'm driving, going to the gym. Why? I don't have to tell you my name.
Yeah, but I need to check who's registered to keep it for this
Yeah,
vehicle.
you do that. I don't really
Yeah,
care.
the jobs are good, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I don't care who. That's irrelevant because I'm driving with insurance. I know I've got
But you don't have your
insurance.
driving licence on you.
I don't need my licence.
135 of the Road Traffic Act. Get your mate to Google it quickly.
No, I don't need to.
I don't
Google
need to
nothing, mate. I've
carry
got
my
to
driving license everywhere I go with me. I lost my wallet. I lost my
That's all right.
license.
Again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Can you move out of the way so I can park the car, please?
Sorry?
No, no, look, it's
I know how enough all the traffic.
Right. So, what is your name? Or shall I check it through first?
check it
Check it
through.
through, mate.
What's your registration?
Go check. I don't even know my
Different
registration.
vehicles.
I don't know my registration.
You've
Don't know
clearly
your
just.
reg, but you own it.
I didn't say I owned it. He's pulling me for no reason, literally. How's he coming up to me, fucking talking on about fucking...
He's too much.
Your argument stinks. I'm alright, I'm trying to go have a job.
How far are you
Too
going?
what in this car?
How far?
I locking my doors. I'm scared.
I'm just doing my job, mate.
What job though? You...
Attitude, I'm just doing my job.
Why?
I didn't, because I was driving in traffic.
You went, yeah.
No, I haven't checked it, and I said that's why I'm getting the reg.
So why did you stop me out of any other
Because
person?
under the Road Traffic Act, I'm just checking who you are.
So why didn't you check anyone else?
Look, if anybody understands what cretins the police can be, it's me. But to question a police officer about why he has stopped him and nobody else is a ridiculous argument. I think we've probably all thought it, and maybe some of us have said it. But think about it. They can only stop one person at a time. They can only stop one vehicle at a time to do their checks. This guy's clearly pulled up or driven down the road or whatever the situation is, and the police officer has seen him and for whatever reason has decided to check his details, there's no way that this guy can know whether the police officer's stopped anyone before him or if he's going to stop anyone after him. I just think personally it's a bit of a weak argument to say to an officer, why have you stopped me and nobody else? But again, you know, this video is not about sticking up for the police, it's about being balanced, and I personally think that the police officer's dealing with this in a reasonable way.
Bear with me. There's no need for attitude, is there? Like you said, you've come out for a jog, and I'm being really, to be honest, I'm being decent with you.
I'm a busy guy. Yeah. You're holding me up.
I'm a busy guy as well.
Well, clearly not for pulling me for no reason. You pull me for no reason. Ask for my name.
Just checking your documents. Simple as that.
Go pull somebody else. Why are you pulling me? I don't understand.
There's no need for attitude. I'm being decent with you guys, aren't I?
He ain't been attitude. He ain't got attitude.
He's a little bit.
He hasn't. I don't understand why you're pulling me. Are you detaining me, sir?
I'm just checking this, okay? And then once I can confirm who you are. Me? Yes, actually, under the Road Traffic Act.
So he's detaining me now, so he's arrested me.
No, I'm not arresting you.
He's detaining me for what? But why are you detaining me for?
Just for the purpose of checking who you are, that's it.
But why do I have to...
Under the Road Traffic Act, because you have to remain with me for as long as it takes to check the documents.
A common misconception. Being detained is not the same as being arrested. You could be detained if the police think that you may have been involved with or could be involved with something criminal, or, as in this situation, to identify the driver to ensure that he has all the relevant documentation to be driving on the road legally. It is not the same as being arrested. You are only arrested when you are being charged with something, but being charged with something doesn't mean that you've done it. It's only once inquiries have been made after you've been arrested to determine whether or not you're going to be formally charged or released. I mean, yes, this whole thing is used a lot just to inconvenience people or to intimidate them or to teach people a lesson, as it was in my case, but being detained is most certainly not the same as being arrested. However, while thinking about that, I might just put in a freedom of information request to all of the police forces across the UK to find out how many people have been arrested versus how many people have been formally charged. I think that might be an interesting statistic to find out.
Honestly, you can Google all this, I promise you. All right? No, it's okay. You're not sure to drive it. Oh my God. Of course you can.
To pull him because it's a nice car. Why? He's a young lad.
I didn't say it's a nice car or not a nice car, did I?
So why have you decided to pick him over everyone else?
Let me run it through, alright? Let me do my job and we can get you on your way, alright?
Answer it. See what I mean? You just tried to put it.
Who are you, anyway?
Who am I? Don't make me laugh, mate. Don't just give you know my name at all.
I'm just checking it through for you, alright? Problem is, when they're talking to me, I can't get in on the air because I've got to talk to everyone else.
Yeah, but
so I'm trying to speed it up.
Why is there more people?
Because they're on the way in.
For what?
What's your name? Where do you live? Just so I can check it, they're telling me now.
Why do I have to tell you my name? I don't understand.
Just so
for what?
Confirm.
Why have you called for backup?
Yeah, that's confirmed. This driver's not telling me who he is at the moment. Right. Okay.
Do I have to tell you?
Yeah, because then I can check from the name we've just been given that you are insured in the keeper. That's it, mate.
So I have to tell you?
Yeah, under the Road Traffic Act. Or I can issue you a producer to bring your insurance documents and the driving licence to the station within 7 days, and then it gets stamped, because otherwise I can't prove who you are.
So you have to. So if I don't tell you my name, you're going to give me a
have you got a bank card or anything like that with your name on?
No.
No, like nothing.
No.
You haven't got anything with your name on. I don't know why you'd have your passport, for example, but passport.
Yeah, but why? I don't understand
because
why I have
at the moment, I've got a name and insured for this vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're not telling me who you are. So how do I know that person on the documents is you?
Yeah, but how can you
Do you
pull
see
me
what I
for
mean?
no reason and
See what
ask
I
me
mean? I
that?
told you it's under 135 of the Road Traffic Act. I just need, if you tell me who you are and I go, yeah, that's the registered keeper, that's the insured, this is where you live, then I don't need you to give the producer then.
Now let me just make sure everybody's got this right. I have not switched sides. Okay, this is still police abusing powers. I am still PAP. I just genuinely believe that there are some laws, some acts, some statutes that genuinely are there to protect people, whereas others are there to infringe on people's rights or to revenue generate, etc. I personally think that anybody driving a 2.5 ton piece of metal around town or anywhere needs to be competent, they need to be insured, and they need to be driving something that is roadworthy. I, for one, do not want to be run over by somebody driving like a twat because they don't know how to drive properly, or injured by a vehicle because it's unroadworthy. I'm sure most, if not all of you, can agree with that. Again, there are many laws, many acts and statutes that I don't agree with, but this is one that I have to say, I don't mind being stopped. I don't disagree with people being stopped for genuine reasons or to ensure that they are legally allowed to drive on the road. If, however, this particular incident had gone a different direction and the officer had started accusing him of, you know, all sorts of things, like I said earlier, he could have turned around quite easily and, you know, taught this guy a lesson by saying, I can smell weed in the car. And then he could have got him out and searched him, handcuffed him, got some sniffer dogs in and really wasted his time. But as it is, I think the officer actually handled the situation quite well. I am all for, and every one of you that watch this or that know about my channel, you know that I am 100% for people's rights. 100%. And I know some people, especially some of the free men of the land movement, are going to say, well, we have the right to travel, which I'm not disputing with you. But even so, even if we have the right to travel, would you allow a 12-year-old to get in your car and just drive it down the road? For example, I don't think you would. You'd be very, very, silly if you did that. There has to be some give and take when it comes to the law. We can understand that. The police generally fail to understand that. But when it comes to the law, there are certain things that we must give and take. And this is one of them, in my opinion. Now, I don't expect all of you to agree with me, and that's absolutely fine. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments below. As always, I will interact with you as much as I can, whether it's a debate or whatever it might be. Absolutely love to chat with you all in the comments below. But I am going to leave the video there. I hope this has been educational for you. I hope you've learned something from this as well. Again, I have not turned to the dark side.
Something dark side. Something complete.
I am still me, and I am still doing what I do best. And I hope if you haven't subscribed already, I hope that you will. Please like the video, because the thumbs up and the comments help to promote the video, and hopefully eventually one day YouTube will actually promote my video and I'll get, a lot of views as it's promoted to lots of people. So please help me out in that respect, and until next time.
Good night all.